Astoria, before it got expensive, was the Greek capital of New York, where Greek families ran the restaurants and bakeries and shops along Ditmars Boulevard and Steinway Street. And if you grew up there, or your family was part of that community, you remember when Astoria was actually Greek. Not just Greek-themed for people who moved there because they heard it was trendy, and the transformation from working-class immigrant neighborhood to expensive Queens destination happened so fast that longtime residents barely had time to realize their own neighborhood was being taken from them. Tell me if you remember real Astoria, because this gentrification hurt. Ditmars Boulevard was the heart of Greek Astoria, with tavernas and cafes where old men would sit outside playing backgammon and drinking Greek coffee, arguing in Greek about politics back home while their grandkids ran around speaking English. And the whole block felt like a transplanted piece of Athens, where you could get authentic souvlaki and baklava and loukoumades from people whose families had been making them for generations. The bakeries on Steinway Street, where you'd get fresh spanakopita and tirapita in the morning, still warm from the oven, and the owners knew everyone's name because these weren't just businesses, they were community institutions that served the same families for decades. The Greek Orthodox churches that were the center of social life, not just for religion, but for festivals and weddings and baptisms where the entire Greek community would gather, and those connections kept the neighborhood tight even as New York changed around it. The outdoor seating at the tavernas where you could sit under the elevated train eating grilled octopus and drinking ouzo while planes flew low overhead into LaGuardia. And that specific combination of Greek food and Queens' industrial backdrop felt so perfectly Astoria that you couldn't imagine it any other way. Then rents started climbing in the 2000s. Young professionals from Manhattan discovered that Astoria was only one stop on the N train from Midtown, and suddenly, landlords realized they could charge way more than working-class Greek families could afford. The old Greek businesses started closing one by one, not because they weren't good, but because their leases doubled or tripled, and they couldn't compete with new restaurants and bars catering to the incoming crowd who wanted craft cocktails, not Greek coffee. The families who'd lived there for 40 or 50 years had to move, pushed to Whitestone or Bayside or out to Long Island, because staying in Astoria meant paying Manhattan prices for a neighborhood their grandparents built. The new Astoria has nice restaurants and beer,